I will admit, it is kinda nice to just stop bullshitting and call this list my top 30 and do away with the whole honourable mentions thing. I think part of it was because if I had to put the albums in my previous 10 in an honourable mention segment, that would have annoyed even me, and as always, these are favourites lists. Speaking of, I have numbers 20 to 11 of my favourites to do now, so I'm gonna do those. I can't wait for your positive and spell check feedback, YouTube commenter. Please enjoy. Number 20, Bad Flower. This is how the world ends. There really aren't as many bands these days doing what Bad Flower does. Well, I tell a lie, there's plenty of bands that are doing this, but Bad Flower are one of the few doing their Misery Scar style of hard rock right. I had a good feeling about them after their debut in OK I'm Sick, and I'm glad that I was proven right. It's the band's sense of realism and enough ingress that always get you, coupled with energy-drenched performances and some dancely production. If this is the end of the world as we know it, I'd feel just fine. Number 19, Beartooth, Below. I was never the biggest Attack Attack fan, either the UK or US iteration of the band, but Caleb Sharma has done great work with Beartooth, and as their fourth album proves, he's continuing to do great work. It was the group's first to actually feature the band taking part, so it's nice to hear Caleb sounding as confident as he should be on the mic, and just on the mic. It's possibly the band's heaviest output with some of their best playing to date, and the production and pacing tie it up nicely. It's a shame that the final song is just a 4-minute wankfest, but yeah, take what you can get. Number 18, Ginger, Wallflowers. Sometimes it takes a lot for a band to turn me around to them, especially if they dropped an album I was looking forward to only for it to be just okay. Ginger was that band for me with 2019's Macro, then they dropped Wallflowers last year, and now I'm sorry for being such a fool the first time around. The band's fourth album here contains non-stop gentle fury, and that's nothing new as I've covered all of this stuff before. With that said, I can safely say that this is the band at their absolute best and creative, with so much build-up and payoff, and honestly I'm looking forward to the next one. Totally changed me around, this did. Number 17, Our Hollow, Our Home, Burn in the Flood. I haven't really covered a lot of UK bands up to this point, so let's bring it on home. This is another one I was looking forward to, as I remember liking their last album in Moment in Memory. This is a fantastic follow-up to that in so many areas. The band have come leaps and bounds in terms of songwriting, but they also have more emotion to them, and at the end of the day, the feeling's what matters. It's also got bloody great drumming, solid lyrics, and some nice uncomplicated structuring, so yeah, that all works for me. Maybe it'll work for you too. Number 16, Face to Face, No Way Out But Through. A lot of the punk I've covered up to this point has been more in the modern pop-punky vein. Face to Face have been doing this for 30 years, and you know what? It feels like it, but I mean that in the absolute best of ways. This is everything I love about old school American punk energy, even down to the gruff vocals and some damn fast drum beatdowns. Face to Face definitely deserve to be in the same vein of the likes of Bad Religion and such, because while not as popular as those groups, that doesn't stop this from being one of my favourite pure punk experiences of the past year. Number 15, Turnstile, Glow On. There are some bands that you hear a lot of good shit about as soon as they form. Turnstile is one of those bands, and I would have talked about them sooner, but they only drop new stuff every 3 years, and thanks to this, I can totally see what the hype is about. They're such a unique melodic hardcore punk band, adding in so many styles effortlessly without getting too confusing, and being easily charming without being obnoxious. If you too have heard the good news about Turnstile, now's the time to read all about it for yourself, because this is a hell of a glow up. Number 14, Every Time I Die, Radical. This is the point in the list where I feel bad for not putting bands that I love in the top 10, because I do fucking love Every Time I Die so goddamn much. I've heard all of their albums, which is a lot of music to go through, but Radical might just be the perfect culmination of all of their sounds and styles. There is some brain-beating material to sift through, but the band's flawless chemistry and charisma mixed with their ability to just write really fucking good songs equal some of their best work. But don't take my word for it, have a butchers. Number 13, Trash Boat, Don't You Feel Amazing. Do you see what I mean when it talks about Every Time I Die in the last entry now? So, a pop-punk band with a name taken from a cartoon is one thing, and it's basically the thing that defined this Saint Albans group for a while. Their third album here marks such a massive shift in sound, and it works wonders for them. There is some absolute filth on this album, and it's their most open with a lot of its topics, and I feel like the band can only continue to evolve from here, and trust me, if I could, I would put this in the top 10, but as it is, it's here anyway, and it is absolutely amazing. Number 12, Whitechapel, Kin. I was never the biggest deathcore kid. In fact, I would go so far as to say it's one of my least favourite music genres. That didn't really change for me with Whitechapel's last album, The Valley. I just didn't really feel it as much as everyone else did. But somehow, that changed with Kin, or at least it changed my thoughts on this band in particular. It uses dark topics to tell a great story in a unique way, and that is backed up with some tooth-smashing instrumental pacing and some very smooth production. It's smarter than it first appears to, so if you need some heavy that just makes you think, this will do more than just fine. It's really great. And finally, number 11. Holding Absence, the greatest mistake of my life. From what little I know about this Welsh group, they took a while to get off of the ground. Sure, they're only 6 years into their career, which makes it even more baffling as this album kicks all of the asses. A sincere album detailing the concept of a failing relationship. Not only is the storytelling on point, but the unique post-rock hardcore sound and versatile production adds so much to that, let alone the band's winning tenacity. And while it isn't in the top 10, it's still a high spot for an album that has so many great moments to it, which are built up wonderfully. And that's it for numbers 20 to 11. Tomorrow, 10 to 1. I know there's probably a lot of albums on this portion of the list that people are expecting to be in the top 10, but you know what, they're here anyway, and there's some really great stuff. Also, my cat is here. As for what's next for me, well, I should apologise for last night as well, because I was going to try and stream Resident Evil 7, but I've had to sort of change the way I edit things, so hopefully this new way I'm doing it sticks and it doesn't try to screw me over, because I am getting so sick of that happening with the things I use. Anyway, as for what's next, hopefully the final part tomorrow, and then no video on Friday, but I will actually start the Resident Evil 7 Let's Play Twitch stream thing. So yeah, that's about it for that, and I'll see you tomorrow. As always, thank you for watching, you're awesome. Bye bye.